All right, let's see what we got here. Just got this in today. I know what it is, but just want to do like an unboxing for you guys. This is, well, not packaged very great, but hopefully there's no damage. So this is a fuel cell that I was mentioning in a video, I think maybe the last video or the video before that. 17-gallon fuel cell that we're going to be putting in here. So I didn't video it, but I did cut out the wheel well, and I ordered a piece of 18 gauge steel, the right size for this. I mean, I'll have to cut it, but I ordered that, and yeah, so at this point, I'm ready to start kind of fitting this up in there and seeing where everything's going to go. I had to do this before I went any further because, you know, the last thing you want to do when you're restoring a car is leave major fabrication till after you get, you know, primed and painted and all that. You don't want to leave any of that major fabrication till after. You want to do that first. So that was one of the big ones. I'm not going to do like an exposed fuel cell. It's going to be definitely hidden up underneath here. So let's go ahead. I'll put this on a tripod and I'll kind of show you guys how I'm gonna set this up in here and exactly where it's gonna go and how we're going to attempt to mount it. I may need to go get some more material to mount this, maybe some square tubing. I know they sell it at like Tractor Supply or whatever. Kind of like, let me show you this one over here. I have a flashlight. So this is what I did with this car. It's really dark in here, but you can see I use square tubing. I actually missed a spot to paint it right on this side here. I need to go back and touch that up. But anyway, yeah, I use square tubing, and then on the square tubing, I also have like holes for where I mounted weights. But yeah, I'm gonna probably do the similar thing. Just make a little cradle, kind of like that, mount it to the frame like I did here, but I'll do it the same on, you know, on the Z. The frame rails they're similar. They do like a similar type shape. You can see how it wraps in here and then comes this way, and the same with this one here. So it'll be a very similar type, you know, bracket. But this one here, I'm gonna do it a little bit different because on the Mustang, it drops in from the top, okay? This one, I want this to go in from the bottom and then be able to like, maybe put some tabs on it and be able to bolt it up this way. So like, I'm not gonna be able to get the fuel cell out this way. It'll have to come out through the bottom. So some might call me cheap, but I like to call it resourceful. So I've been saving this old bed frame. I don't know, it's really old. I don't know where it came from, but it's been sitting under my little shed there. And this is all steel, okay? And it's like already powder coated and everything. And it's got some nice long pieces to it. So if you go to like Tractor Supply, or if you go to Ace Hardware or any like Home Depot, to buy like square tubing is like super expensive. And this is already powder coated. I mean, to weld it, I'm only gonna have to, you know, scrape off the end or whatever to weld it, and then I can touch it up. But other than that, it's got a nice hard coat on it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart and see what we can use. Okay, so here's what I'm going for. This metal seems to be pretty good. I don't see a problem with this being weak or anything like that, or being like Chinese metal. It cleaned up pretty good, and it looks like it'd be pretty easy to TIG weld to, and it's a pretty decent gauge. Anyway, so it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be there. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and then obviously I can't hold it with two hands, but this piece will be here. And at the top here, I'm gonna put a tab on it that sticks out, okay? And that tab will bolt to whatever I put across it. This is just an example. I don't know if I'm gonna use this or not, but I'll go from this this rear subframe to the back bumper brace. And yeah, it'll be pretty easy. Just, it's gonna wrap around. I'll do 2 of them. You know, I'll do one here and one like about where this one is. And then I can raise the cell from up underneath, and then it'll bolt right here to the bar going across. So it'll be kind of like, this will be coming up here. Not with these tabs on it, obviously, but it'll be coming up like this, but with a tab going across this way. And I'll weld a bolt in here. Maybe I'll drill a hole and weld a bolt inside. And then, yeah, just lift the cell and 4 bolts. And that's it. Make it real simple. So, so yeah, let me get some more of these pieces cut. I should have enough. I'm really happy with my new bandsaw. I picked this up off of Facebook, this Jet one. I used to have like a Harbor Freight one, and it was junk, but this one here, man, it cuts really good angles, and it's super clean too. I'm really happy with that. So anyway, I'll get a bunch of pieces cut and we'll get it all set up, and then we'll start TIG welding it, and I'll come back when I have an update. Okay guys, so here's what I come up with. These little square pieces, TIG welded them together and made a little bracket at the top. And I've already mounted in the crossbars back up underneath. Went ahead and welded those in. And this is kind of how it's gonna go, like that. But when I went ahead and like mocked it up and put the gas tank up in there and kind of looked at it, I don't like it. So I don't like how this square tubing sticks down below the tank. So I got the tank sitting right there, and I should have shown, you know, I kind of should have shown what it looked like, but I was just kind of so, you know, like, I don't like it. So I just took it off. But the way these stick down below the tank and you can really see them, I don't like it. So I went out and got some flat stock. This is some, I don't know what gauge it is, but it's extremely strong, okay? This will actually be stronger than this square tubing. This square tubing was pretty thin, and I actually had a pretty tough time welding it. I had to turn my welder way down, and it was still wanting to like blow through it. So yeah, this tubing that I got off that bed frame, it's just very thin. So that kind of also made my decision to do something different. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remake them with this. They're gonna look the exact same, but it's just gonna be flat. So that way, when I mount the fuel cell, you won't see these straps like sticking down. It'll be nice and flat up against it. So, all right, let me remake those, and I'll come back and we'll go from there. Okay, so I think this is gonna work a lot better. As you can see, it's just not gonna be so ugly sticking down. You'll see a little bit of it, you know, with the fuel cell being in here. But I think from, you know, when you're above the car looking down, you won't even see it. So yeah, I was trying to just minimize it as much as possible from what, you know, what you could see from the back. I don't mind being able to see a little bit of the bottom of the fuel cell. It's really no different than like a stock tank that you know, you can see the bottom of the stock tank too. So, but I think this is gonna work. And yeah, I really like welding regular mild steel. It's much easier than welding aluminum or even stainless. So, but anyway, what I may also do is I got a little extra, and I think it might be smart to add a crossbar that ties everything together. And then also it adds a little more support up underneath. Maybe not, I'm not sure. But what I do know is that I'm going to have to coat this tank, okay? So I'm gonna have to like scuff this up, tape off all the fittings, and do some like undercoat on it, or maybe even bed liner, because this is just aluminum, okay? So if a rock comes up off of one of the wheels and hits it, it's very likely you could puncture that. Okay, these are not necessarily designed to be hanging below the car. So I either got to make like a cage around it, or I was thinking just coat it with like undercoating, a good thick amount of undercoating. And that would also kind of help it not move around in here too. You know, maybe I could do undercoating on the cell and then do some undercoating in here. You know, once that dries, when you bolt this up there, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of friction. It's not gonna move around at all. And it'll also keep it from rubbing metal to metal, okay? So I was debating a little bit on what I should do with that. Maybe even put a shield here with a little bit of an angle on it so that anything coming this way won't hit the tank. But I think undercoating might do the trick, and it would be much easier too, so. But anyway, yeah, let me get this thing finished up and we'll take a look at it and I'll wrap this video up. All right, so I think it looks pretty good. Got it all mounted up, and you can see how it just kind of pokes down below the rear valance or bumper, whatever you want to call it. It only sticks down maybe an inch and a half. So that's gonna actually be higher than what the stock tank is. The stock tank, it sits down much further than that. It sits down in this area. So I think that looks pretty good. Everything on top is going to have enough clearance. I measured to make sure that once we put our cover on here, that it won't interfere with all the end lines. And then probably I'll use this area up in here, somewhere in this area for the fuel pump. I'm not sure what pump I'm gonna go with yet. Something that will not too big. We don't need a lot of pump, so we're not going for big power here. We're just going for a street cruiser. So anyway, yeah, I'm pretty happy the way it came out. And like I said, I'm definitely gonna have to undercoat this because you can see that, I mean, we're pretty exposed here from anything coming off the road hitting it. So this all needs to be covered, and maybe I'll put an extra couple layers on this side, knowing this will be taking the brunt of whatever. So I know a tank like this is not necessarily made to be mounted under the car. Those are more to be mounted like inside, that are kind of covered and protected, but it'll work this way. I could, if I really was worried about it, I could attach something here that covers this, but I think I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. And yeah, so the next step will be to cover up this hole, and then make some kind of a trap door for the filler, which will then somehow, we're gonna have to get that to come over to the filler hole. So some kind of a tube going like this, and so I can maintain the factory filler. So anyway, guys, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it and learned something about installing a fuel cell. I mean, just gotta be creative, figure it out, and it's really, you know, you can save some money doing it, and this should be better than a stock tank. It won't rust, and it holds more fuel. So anyway, check y'all later.